Yo, what's going on, everybody? This is another episode of Give and Go, the NBA show. I'm your host, Dante Williams, and co-hosting the show with me is my brother, Jimmy Williams. You want to introduce yourself to the crowd today?
You already introduced me. They
Okay.
already
See,
know.
he too good to be introduced. But on this episode today, we're going to be talking about a couple of things. We're going to be talking about some of the first set of playing games that have taken place already. And we're going to say the best for last. We're going to talk about the Kwame Brown situation that has been going viral lately. But let's get into this first playing game. So the first game was the Pacers versus Hornets. The Pacers won 144 to 117. They basically blew Charlotte out the gym. So what's your thoughts on that game?
I mean, I thought Charlotte was gonna take it, but I think that game reminded us that this is a playoff atmosphere,
Right.
and that in the playoffs it get real quick, and the Hornets were not prepared at all. So that tell you a lot about that game. I didn't really take away too much. The Pacers were just the better team. They were better playoff. They got better playoff experience. So I mean, and it showed in that game. Melo didn't really do too much in that game. Sabonis did most of the work. We forgot about Malcolm Brogdon. Excuse me. He set the tone. Doug McDermott was the key player in the first half for me because he hit like four to five threes. So that set them off to a good start.
And I think the one thing about Doug McDermott is he came into the league known as a shooter, but I think he's an underrated slasher to the basket. I know a couple games against the Bulls, he dropped like 20, but he was for the most part, most of those points he was slashing to the basket. And then with the Pacers, Karis LeVert was hurt, who was probably arguably their second best scorer. He came over that trade for Oladipo. So I'm thinking coming into this game, it could be an even match. I think Charlotte gonna put up a fight, even though they ain't had Gordon Hayward. But it looked like they didn't come prepared at all. Like I think they didn't care about the postseason at all. But hey,
Yeah.
Pacers handle their business though. That's basically what it is. But other than the Pacers and Hornets game, the next game was the Wizards in Boston. I think a lot of people was excited about. It was a good game. Jason Tatum had 50, and I think people know he's capable of putting up them numbers. But the thing about Boston is, in the last 15 games, they lost 10 of them. So I think people was thinking Boston probably would come out sloppy or whatever. But they came out on top. Kemba Walker, I said Kemba Walker got to play good. He had 29. And if you look at the Wizards, Russell Westbrook didn't look like he looked kind of off that game. What was your thoughts on it?
So I'm gonna touch on both things you previously talked. Let's start with Boston. Boston
Right.
came out and surprised everybody the way that. Well, I wouldn't say surprised. That's how we expected them to play all season, and it seemed like they finally switching into gear. But what did I say the first episode? Tatum got to drop 40 to 50 because Jalen Brown not there,
Yeah.
and he
Yeah.
did that. And I also gave some criticism on Kemba Walker because he hadn't been playing too consistent. He came out played great. And then what did I say about Russell Westbrook first episode? In the
You definitely
playoffs,
said he
he
vanishes
played.
like the
Yeah,
wind.
and I would say this game you can kind of tell Bradley Beal was hurt, but I mean he still had decent numbers. But Westbrook was off the whole game. He
But
was
I'm
off the
not
whole
gonna lie to
game.
you. I'm not gonna lie. Marcus Smart was kind of clamping them on a couple possessions, but Marcus Smart got a history of guarding Westbrook and holding them to like a certain amount of points. He has a history of just not being able to score on Marcus Smart, but everybody know Marcus Smart is a good defender. But the one thing that was irritating me about that game was they didn't double Tatum at all. They basically just let him do whatever he wanted. Y'all let him get to his spots. That's what was irritating me the most.
But
And
some of them shots, he was knocking them down. But I think Boston they kind of came out, punched him in the mouth, and the Wizards just never could get back. So
yeah, it was over with after that. But hey, Boston got to play the Nets first round, so that's gonna be a real interesting series because I think people think Boston can put up a little fight. But
hmm
I don't know what you gonna do with Kyrie Harden and Durant. I'm sorry, but they might sweep him the first round. They don't have Jalen Brown. I think they might sweep him. I'm not gonna lie to you.
well, we'll get to that. We'll get to that. But let's talk about how Westbrook made up for himself
Yeah,
when they
he
played the
he
Pacers.
definitely did.
They played the
They what did they
Pacers.
win 144 to like 10? They basically blew them out. I don't even remember the
It was
score.
it. I got the score right here. It was 142 to 115.
Yeah, the Pacers basically blew the Charlotte out like that, and then they went to Washington and got blown out like that. And then
Right.
you can kind of see the expression of Westbrook face with that Beal dunk. That was the exclamation
Yeah.
point. But
He was more locked in on that game for sure. But I mean, he had to be. It was win and go home type situation. So of course, Westbrook was gonna come back and show us what we wanted to see from him in the first game.
and it's crazy because as of April 9th, they had the Wizards having a 6% chance of getting in the playoffs. Like that's
Hmm.
crazy. Nobody expected them to get in the playoffs, but now they have to go against Philly first round, which is going to be a hard task to ask Westbrook and Beal to because Embiid just been dominant all season. They got Seth Curry in them over there now, so Philly ain't no joke. But let's get into
Yeah.
this next game, the Grizzlies and Spurs, because that was kind of like an old school style game, defense on both sides.
I laughed at that game, and it actually was a really good game. Like they was
Right.
really getting after it.
Yeah, DeRozan went 5 of 21 from the field. Let's get into DeRozan a little bit because this was a dude who was in Toronto, even though they was a first seed a couple of times, got swept by LeBron. And then it was kind of funny because as soon as they traded him for Kawhi, like the next year or whatever, they won the championship. So DeRozan, it's safe to say he might not be back with the Spurs next year. I don't think he's that guy that's going to take him to the promised land. Um,
I
they,
mean, yeah, the Bros are gonna be a free agent. I mean, the thing is, back in Toronto, LeBron was their kryptonite. I mean,
yeah,
that's just what it was. It was like Steve Nash and Amari Stoudemire, and they had to go against Kobe back in the day.
right.
They just could never get past the Lakers, and that was Toronto problem. They could never get past
Even
LeBron.
DeRozan, I think DeRozan said that was their kryptonite. LeBron,
Yeah,
like they was saying
yeah,
LeBron too, like like he owned Toronto. Like
yeah.
that was crazy. But
But the difference maker in this game was Valanciunas. He destroyed them in the paint, like and
23
on
rebounds,
defense.
23
Yeah,
rebounds.
killed them on the board. He was the difference maker. Everybody was focusing on Ja, but Valanciunas was he was on some bully basketball and destroying them. They ain't had no answer for him.
But you know, another person was Dylan Brooks. I think he that play on 18 who bring energy. He like the energizer type player, which I think any team can
Yeah,
need. So, and he had like what 24 points. So he helped spark some of that. You know, when the Spurs coming back, he kind of helped that spark push the lead a little bit more.
he definitely needs to be first team all defense for sure,
Yeah,
for
but
sure.
the Spurs were also missing Derek White, who was actually they starting too. Um, the Spurs kind of struggled without him in the lineup after he was out for the season with a severe ankle sprain. So I don't know how that's going to turn. I don't know if that kind of hurt the Spurs basically in a way. But let's talk about the real game. Let's talk about the Lakers and Warriors. What was your biggest takeaway from that game?
I mean, my biggest takeaway was, I would say
Because
my
it's a lot of
my
things you can look at like in that game.
yeah. I think you got to look at how Golden State came out and played. They played with a lot of hustle. They kind of punched in the mouth. Draymond Green was a big part of this game. But Caruso for the Lakers, he was what Draymond Green was doing to them. He
He
pretty much
Caruso
he
didn't get
pretty
enough
much came
praise.
out. Yeah, he
He didn't
pretty
get enough
much
praise,
came
bro.
out. He came out in the first half and scored like 12. I think the Lakers was kind of like they was kind of going back and forth, and Caruso kind of gave him a little punch off the bench. Um, Steph, he started off slow, but then once he started hitting, it was just like you know,
Some of them shots he was hitting was like how,
yeah,
like the one to
and
close out the half. I don't know how that shot went in, bro. It
yeah.
went in though.
Oh, Andrew, let's talk about Andrew Wiggins and Clint Bazemore because they impressed me. Wiggins came out like none of y'all can guard me. I'm gonna do whatever I want to do, and it showed in that game. And Clint Blazemore, he finally after all season was knocking down open threes. But the game came down to LeBron being LeBron and doing
What's
LeBron
interesting
thing.
though, was at halftime, LeBron and AD was combined 3 of 19 from the field. They was playing, and then back to Wiggins. I think what impressed me the most about Wiggins is not even his offense, but he was willing to guard LeBron. Like he was literally locking him up, getting up on him, trying to make him uncomfortable as possible. And then we don't got to speak about Draymond. I think the real fans know he one of the best defenders in the league. Dude, literally, he pretty single-handedly stopped Anthony Davis the whole first half. Like he didn't let him score nothing. Like
Yeah, I'm glad you said first half because Anthony Davis, he still had 25 points, but it was like a quiet 25. He didn't really get to put his stamp on the game. Except when he hit that wide open three, LeBron passed to him, and that kind of like gave him a lift a little bit. But yeah, Draymond Green definitely did his job. Shooter, he was kind of off the whole game. He wasn't really there.
yeah,
They
he
didn't
played horrible
really.
too.
The Lakers bench didn't really impress me this game. Besides Caruso, I expected more from Montrez, but he didn't really play that much. I
They
don't
took
think
Drummond out the game
Marcus.
early too. They took him out.
Yeah, Drummond couldn't really do anything. I mean, they were boxing him out as they should.
Right.
And on the offensive end, they tried to post him up one time, and that was it. Which you should never try to post Drummond up. He's not that type of player.
But the thing about the Warriors is, it's crazy to think if Clay was playing. Because I think honestly, I feel like if Clay was playing, they had Oubre and Wiseman. I think it would have been a blowout. Because, like I keep telling people, once Clay come back, you're not only looking at Steph, because I think it's easier to guard the Warriors in a way once they like quadruple team and Steph in like that last possession. Because I feel like if Clay was there, you got to look at both of them. You don't know where to look. So they both just in there running around the court.
Yeah, I knew we all knew the ball was going to Steph, but I would have rather Kerr like tried to give it to somebody else because somebody would have had a more wide open shot. Because I mean, I know you want to give it to Steph, to win the game, but you got to have like a plan B. If he didn't get wide open, or good enough to at least catch the ball. You gotta have Clint Bazemore come off, or at least Wiggins. Yeah. Somebody has to get the ball to at least put the ball up to shoot it.
Yeah. But Clint Bazemore was shooting good the first half. He had like 3-3-pointers. Like Jordan Poole was playing. The Warriors got some really promising young players. Toscano Anderson, he gonna be good. Poole gonna be good. Wiseman when he get back. So they got some Mulder. I think he an underrated shooter. People don't really know about yet. So the Warriors got some talent, but the Warriors played tonight against the Grizzlies. The winner of that game get the AC and got to play Utah. So what do the Warriors have to do to beat Memphis?
What the Warriors got to do is just come out and play that game. I mean, they already pretty much got confidence going against Memphis. The answer they need to solve is Valanciunas, if I said his name right.
He too big, man. He big down there.
He's going to be the only one to really get him problems down low because, I mean, he's a big body. He could rebound just like Drummond, except with Drummond, he can't really score. You give it to him, Valanciunas down there, he could definitely get you an easy 2 points, an and one, and he sometimes pull out a 3 every once in a while. So I think Memphis game plan will come out to try to slow Curry down a little bit, but to also kind of get them in the paint, get them in foul trouble. That's Memphis' best chance to win. But Golden State, I mean, they just got to play a game, give it to Curry, move the ball around, hit some open threes, get out on fast break. And if they do that, I don't think Memphis could keep up in scoring. But like I said, Memphis, they could get Golden State if they, get them in the paint, get them on the rebounds.
Yeah. Memphis has actually finished the season 7th in the league in defense. So they're a good defensive team. But why I like to praise the Warriors is not even Draymond Green, but Kevon Looney played good against the Lakers. He kind of held his own against Anthony Davis a couple of times. But I think what the Warriors thrive in is they pretty much started the small ball, era kind of. Draymond sometimes at the 5. They had KD at the 5 when he was on the Warriors. So the Warriors are really good at defending big men. You see they took Drummond out the game. They really They slid Anthony Davis to the 5, but Drummond and Harrell, guys like that who really can't shoot from the 3, got taken out the game and didn't play. Marcus Gasol didn't play. So I think the Warriors one of the best teams in the league when you talk about defending a big man. And even though Draymond Green, like what 6'6", 6'7", I think he'll be able to make Valanciunas work. He gonna make him work. He gonna irritate him the whole game. I think Looney gonna do his role, but honestly, in the Bay Area, I think Steph might go for 50 tonight. I think he gonna be breaking record. I think he might go for 50.
Oh,
he
home too.
Yeah, he might. I think Grizzlies probably gonna be a little bit more focused because that one game Steph kind of went crazy in the fourth. Memphis gonna be more prepared, but you can't. It's hard to prepare for somebody like Steph because you ain't nothing you can do about it. You see the Lakers prepare for him, but he still had 37. So I mean, hey, we don't know.
Well, since we got a lot of time left before we get to the other two topics, we can get into the Eastern Conference and Western Conference matchups. Since we kind of know what it's gonna look like besides Golden State and Memphis tonight, but we'll know that later on. But we can start off with Philly and Washington. I'll let you start
it off. So Philly, we know Embiid can't be stopped. I think the key really for Washington and looking at their roster and stuff, Wes and Beal gonna have to put up numbers every game. Westbrook gonna have to get triple doubles. Beal gonna have to average like 30. They got a couple of shooters. Bertans, I think he's gonna have to be a factor for them. Rui Hachimura, I think that's their third best scorer, honestly. He got taken out that Boston game in foul trouble, so he can't really do that. Philly is a really good defensive team. I think they like third or fourth in the league right now. Ben Simmons. Really, the thing with Philly is because some people think they the best chance of taking out Brooklyn. I think because Ben Simmons, he can either score like 20 or he can probably score like 10 or 11 and get a triple-double, but still be a factor in the game. So for the Wizards to have a series against Philly, they're going to have to – because I know they don't really have nobody on their team that can stop Embiid, like, realistically, but Russ and Beal just going to have to come out the gates just scoring. They're going to have to be – they're going to have to put up big numbers every single game because Washington really doesn't have that depth around them. So they're going to have to put up historic numbers against them to take out the first seed Sixers. That's how I look at it.
I agree. I'm gonna just be more simple with it. Embiid is gonna kill them in the post. Okay, that's for one.
Yeah, he's gonna kill them.
How the Sixers should be worried is if they let Westbrook and Beal get in the fast break. Westbrook slash to the basket, Beal get open for three type situation. The only thing with Washington is Beal. You could tell he kind of injured still. But the key in this series, because I'm not really worried about Embiid. He up there for MVP. He having one of the best seasons I've seen him play. Ben Simmons is going to be the one that needs to keep them going. Like, I need to see at least a triple-double type game for him, and he needs to get after Westbrook on defense. I mean, that's just how it's got to be. He has to be the one to stop Westbrook from getting them easy baskets, and he got to take Westbrook out the game. You may let Bill, get a couple threes, but Ben Simmons is going to be the key to this series. I'm not really worried about Embiid. I mean, I feel like he's going to get his because Washington doesn't have a center that can guard him face up. But Ben Simmons, I need him to get on Russ level and give me some of them triple doubles and kind of put his imprint on the game.
Yeah, the thing about Ben Simmons is he legit like 6'10". He can guard multiple positions. But I think strategically thinking, I think they're going to put him on Bradley Beal because he had better score. They probably going to have Danny Green or somebody guard Westbrook. I don't know. Even though I think Westbrook going to kill Danny Green, in my opinion. But I think realistically you have Ben sticking – because Ben can guard multiple positions. Like, it's hard to – but I think more as a threat-wise – they're going to put him on Bradley Beal strategically. And go back to the Sixers. If Ben really not a really scorer, I think they X factor is Tobias Harris. He put up all-star type numbers. even though he ain't made the All-Star team this year, because of guys like Julius Randle who got better, all them other guys. But in order for the Sixers to make a run, I think Tobias Harris got to be that X factor. And Seth Curry in them in the playoffs, Seth Curry and them guys. So that's my personal opinion. But I want to talk about another matchup. What you think of the Lakers and the Suns? I think everybody know what the Lakers can do. They reigning champs, but I think a lot of people are sleeping on the Suns because a lot of the odds got the Lakers winning, pretty much sweeping them. But I think with Chris Paul, I don't think it's gonna go down how people think. What you think?
I think Anthony Davis needs to be the superstar that we know he is. If Anthony Davis can put up at least 30 points and double-digit rebounds, I don't think the Suns have anybody to slow him down. No disrespect to DeAndre Ayton, but he can't guard Anthony Davis, especially now on the perimeter. Anthony Davis, if Anthony Davis has bad games, the Lakers are going to have bad games. LeBron going to be LeBron. On Phoenix side, Chris Paul will definitely be the one to get them going. Chris Paul needs to get them in them fast break situations where they push the ball out to get them easy points. Because in the half court, the Lakers are the number one defensive team in the league. So I think they should try to limit getting half court offense. But Chris Paul would definitely be the deciding factor on their side. Devin Booker needs to come out and have one of them 70-point games. He's not gonna drop 70, but he needs to come out with that nobody can guard me mentality. Even though the Lakers have a bunch of guys they can throw at him. Wesley Matthews, Caldwell Pope, just to name a few. So Anthony Davis is gonna be the one on the Lakers side, and Chris Paul is gonna be the one on the Suns side to get them going.
And the thing I like about the Suns, like how their team is, they one of the best 3-point shooting teams in the league. Like they top 10. And I think a lot doesn't get talked about, some of their players off the bench. Let's talk about Cameron Payne because we were really just talking about this off the air the other day. We were saying we thought he's gonna be out the league, after we seen his time with the Bulls. But Cameron Payne basically rejuvenated his career in Phoenix.
He came a long way from dancing with Russell Westbrook in OKC.
Yeah, he came a long way. And he was the 12th pick in the draft. Like, can you imagine? He was the 12th pick.
I didn't know that at all. I forgot.
But I think let's talk about. I want to go back to this Brooklyn and Boston matchup because I think, like I said, people think Boston has a chance because of Jason Tatum and that Kemba Walker averaged like 20-some a game. But what you think? Like, you think Brooklyn gonna sweep them? What's your opinion? You think they can sweep them?
I mean, you seen what Brad Stevens said. He was like, "That's a good team over there. It's not too many teams that can beat them. Them guys are tough." He's right because he gonna have a lot of sleepless nights trying to figure out how to stop all three, which is really no answer for that. The only way Boston is gonna have to play good every night, play hard on both ends. And they're going to have to pray that Kevin Durant, Kyrie, and James Harden at least one or two of them got a bad game, and that keeps them in the game. It's going to be a physical matchup. That's what Boston going to have to do: get physical with them, try to take them out their game. Tristan Thompson is going to have to get on the boards. They have to get them second chance points. Marcus Smart, look at him come out and have at least a couple technicals. Because he's going to be getting after KD, Kyrie, and Harden. They know it's coming, too. They know it's coming.
The only thing... No, my bad. You keep going.
No, go ahead.
No, I was going to say the only thing that kind of scared me about Boston is they depth. They don't really got a lot of depth. So guys like Tatum and Campbell, if you're talking about a 7-game series with the Nets, they're going to have to play big minutes because Kyrie, Harden, and Durant alone going to put up big numbers. So it's like you in a battle to try to outscore them. But I don't think nobody can really outscore them three together. So Tatum gonna have to put up 30 a game in order for him to win. If he averaging 20, that's still not gonna be enough. Like he gonna have to average like 40.
So you saying they gotta, of course they gotta have other players like Kemba Walker and all them.
Yeah, but outside of Kemba Walker, I don't know who you were like Fournier, but I don't think he gonna really. Like I don't think they just compare with the Nets.
He has to.
Yeah,
they all have to. If the Nets come out first quarter and Boston kind of not doing nothing with them. They go up by like 12 to 15 points.
Right.
That 15 to 12 points gonna keep adding up. Like Brooklyn can get hot real quick, and it's like nothing you can do to come back. So I mean, and don't sleep on Brooklyn. Like they haven't played together, but KD, Kyrie, Harden, they all got playoff experience. So they know if they do come out lackadaisical, they know how to get back in the game.
And
So
I think they got a chip on their shoulder because, you know, Kyrie, he been blasted a lot, not showing up to the press conferences. He kind of more like a political person. Like he care about what's going on in the world rather than basketball sometimes. When James Harden asked for that trade from Houston, people was getting on him about that, how the way he handled that. And then, with Kevin Durant, people was like, "Oh, you went to the Warriors. Oh, your rings don't count." And all the pressure on his back to win one in Brooklyn because Brooklyn not winning without KD. And we know
I
KD can average 30 in
don't.
his sleep. So, I mean,
I don't think it's any pressure. I don't think them guys. I think they kind of tone that out. I mean, of course, it'd be nice, to win one, of course, but I think by this point of the season, it's you got to win or go home. So I think they kind of toned out that noise. They kind of all just shut us up a little bit by how dominant they've been all season, and they ain't even all been on the court at the same time. So you know,
and another interesting thing that's a possibility. If the Warriors win tonight, they got to play Utah first round. Do you think the AFC Warriors can upset Utah first round if they see each other?
that's a tough matchup, man. I mean, Utah, they've shown me that they're better at scoring this season consistently. Back a year ago, you couldn't say that about Utah. Some games they put up points, some games they wouldn't. Now they playing defense and they're also playing good on offense consistently. So I keep dropping my phone. My bad. I keep dropping my phone, but I don't know, man. They put up a good fight against the Lakers, so I mean that makes me more confident that they can go up against Utah. It could be one of them series that go to 5 to 6 games. Um, the one thing to look at is Donovan Mitchell. If Donovan Mitchell is not healthy and he's not playing, Golden State maybe could do something, do something with them. And don't be surprised if Golden State upset Utah. I mean, it's always a possibility in the playoffs. But this the Warriors you're talking about. If it was any other AC, then you'd be like, nah, Utah finna blow them out. But the Warriors got championship players on their team. Not they bench, is not the same, but they got Steph Curry. And Steph Curry get hot. You seen against the Lakers, he'll give you a chance. Especially Draymond too. Rudy Gobert, he gonna have to show me something in his playoffs. He's gonna have to dominate them. If he don't dominate them in the paint, the Warriors gonna
But
be comfortable in every game.
that's where the Warriors thrive in. Draymond, he irritates centers like that, like big man like that. They can play small ball and be able to take your big man out the game. It's just proven. But
Yeah.
yeah, the Warriors, I wouldn't be surprised if they upset them. Um, One thing about Utah is they ain't had Bogdanovich in the bubble. He was out for the season. So now that they got him back, they look like a whole different team. But
Mhm.
outside of that, is there any other matchups you looking forward to?
I'm looking forward to as I'm looking at the teams right now. I'm looking forward to the Knicks and Atlanta actually
Knicks.
because I want to see how far Julius Randle can take them in the playoffs. I mean, I don't know who they would play next round. Maybe it will be Philly or Washington, the winner of that series. But I think Tom Thibodeau will get him a fighting chance to match up, not against like teams like Brooklyn and Milwaukee, but the Knicks is going to be interesting to see. And also on the other side, Atlanta, I'm liking what Nate McMillan has been doing with the Hawks. He got them playing, well together. So it's gonna be interesting to see like Nate McMillan and Tom Thibodeau coaching styles during this whole series. You're gonna see some decent coaching. This ain't gonna be one of them series where they scoring like 142 and 130 a game. This gonna be one of them grinded out series, and I think it's gonna be kind of fun to watch because you kind of missed that during the regular season.
So outside of basketball, it doesn't really have much to do with basketball, but they former players. I'm pretty sure you've been keeping in touch with the Kwame Brown situation. I don't think I ever seen nothing like this, and I'm gonna bring up a video right now, just to show people if people haven't been keeping in touch with what's been going on with Kwame Brown, Matt Barnes, Steven Jackson, Gilbert. It's so many people. Like it's like Stephen A. Like he didn't call out so many people, but here's a video of Kwame Brown going off on Matt Barnes, and I think Rachel Nichols.
And Becky with the good hair, I hope you learned your lesson, boy. You need to shut your goddamn mouth. You ain't a man amongst men. I don't want to hear shit else from you. You can pass out weed. I heard Yuck Mouth say it on the podcast. You cool because you showed up and passed out weed. See, that's what I'm talking about. We got to get stupid ass niggas like you out of our culture. That don't mean you cool, bitch. You should have been passing out book bags, you dumb motherfucker. You should have been passing out some hope to these children. But no, what you want to spread the fuck around is that you some type of tough nigga. Because your emotional ass had to jump your motherfucking gate, bitch. That means you wasn't welcome there. You one of them sadistic, suicidal, crazy son bitches. How the fuck you gotta jump the gate at your own house, bitch? You a goddamn shame. Not only was a nigga in your house, you got.
I don't know.
That's why I had to tell
Look,
you.
I don't know what to say about that.
he was.
I don't know what to say.
That was like a snippet of him just ranting, but it's more to it than that. I'll get into it a little bit. So pretty much on Matt Barnes and Steven Jackson podcast, they had Gilbert Arenas on, and of course Gilbert Arenas was on the Wizards when Kwame Brown was there. For some reason, I didn't watch the whole podcast, but Kwame Brown name came up. You know how Gilbert Arenas is. He say what he want to say. Matt Barnes gonna say what he want to say. They kind of was throwing little small jabs at him, kind of playful, messing with him. But what we all didn't know is Kwame Brown has a voice, and he let us know that he's here and he's ready to speak up and say something. And from that point on, all these videos, them going back and forth. Kwame Brown been kind of defending himself, and coming at Gilbert Arenas, throwing real life jabs at him. Matt Barnes too, talking about his wife, his ex-wife, and Steven Jackson coming at him too. And then Matt Barnes came back and was like, "Hey, come on the show. We could box or whatever before the show and this and that. We could talk it out." And then here come Kwame Brown again. He was like, "Nah, I don't want to talk. I don't want to come on your show."
I feel like it's built up anger for all them years because for years, people, when you mentioned Kwame Brown, you think he was a bust because he was the number one overall pick in his draft. So I think he been looking at all these videos because he even got on Stephen A. He talking about he got a toupee on. Like he got on him too. He got on Rachel Nichols. He got on Charlamagne the God. I think it was a video he got on him. He didn't got on a lot of people these last this whole week.
Wait, what he said about Rachel Nichols? I didn't see that one.
He said something. I kind of look it up, but it's so hard to keep track because he didn't say it so much already.
He didn't put in like 1 week. He didn't went viral and put with nonstop videos. It's like 6 or 7 videos.
Yeah, I think they were saying he gained like 30,000 followers, like on Instagram. Like he gained a lot of followers. So we might see a boxing match soon. I don't know. Like we might.
They can do what Mayweather and Logan Paul is doing and just go ahead and just
make money.
That out.
They can make money too while they doing it.
But whatever, for sure.
But man, outside of that Kwame Brown situation, man, let's talk about J. Cole. Everybody know he joined that Africa League. I think the first game he had 3 points, and the second game he had 0. So, what's your thoughts on him? Leaving music for a minute, going to hoop. Like, and people expectation is he might drop 20. I think like that's what their expectation is because he was a hooper. So, what you think?
Well, first, let's say, congratulations on his album because, it was a decent album. Um, as a hooper, I will say that playing in open gym and playing in the league, no
Right.
matter what league it is, two different things. Like, you kind of got to give more respect to some of these, professional guys, whether it's semi-pro, whatever. They put in work and it shows on the court. So watching them, I didn't really watch the footage. I just kind of seen like some snippets they put on ESPN. I do give J. Cole credit for trying because some people wouldn't even went out there and actually attempted to try. But you got to kind of look at it as you can't expect J. Cole to go out there and drop 40 points, even if it's the Africa League. Like it's not gonna happen. So it may take some time for him to get acclimated with the playing style and all that. But I give him a lot of credit for at least going out there and trying to run up and down the court with them guys. To even I seen he blocked somebody's shot and he got a couple of rebounds, which he may be a scorer at LA Fitness, but he may just be defensive guy in the Africa League. Like, and that's okay. But I think people expectation was a little bit too high. They expect him to go in there and dominate because it was like, oh, it's the Africa League. Them guys not hooping over there. No, they hooping. They hooping. They work out, they train for stuff like that. So
You see people like Joel Embiid, Siakam, guys from Africa. You see their
yeah,
talents. So I
yeah,
mean,
for sure. Yeah, I just think people expectations for him was just too high. So I
right.
mean, just enjoy the fact that he gave y'all a good album, and that he's actually going out there and living out his dreams to, actually go out there and hoop and play, in that league over there.
Yeah, and another thing too, back to the NBA. While I was watching that Spurs and Grizzlies game, it kind of made me miss how like fans wasn't able at the games, but now fans are at the games, and you can kind of, even though you watching TV at home, you can kind of sense that energy of the fans. So like, you think it's very important for fans to be back, around the playoffs where you might need them, like in that
Yeah,
time to go for a championship.
I think you could definitely see a difference in some of the games that you watch on national TV, with some of them limiting the number of fans that's coming to the games. And you can tell the difference in the players. You can tell the crowd energy is there. And it's only like a couple thousand people. The arena's not even filled, and you can still hear them fans, heckling, throwing jabs, and all that stuff. I mean, it's good as far as revenue. It's good for the fans, it's good for the players. So hopefully at some point, it get back to normal with more people getting vaccinated and COVID going down, as far as the cases go. But they should only do it in an environment where everybody and all around is safe. And I think they had one game, I can't remember who stadium it was, but they had a section for vaccinated um fans. So they were able to put more fans in a certain section because they were all vaccinated and they didn't have to wear a mask or anything. So that was cool to see. You'll probably see a lot more people still in that idea with the more people that get vaccinated. So I mean, like I said, me and you been to games is always fun, to have all the fans in attendance to see it up close and personal. That's what makes the game.
And another thing interesting happened too. So a top five recruit out of Georgia, Atlanta, Georgia, I believe, went to the G League, signed a $1 million deal today, and I think he the youngest like American pro basketball player like ever. So what you think of these prospects out of high school, these top recruits skipping college and going to the G League?
Well, first, let's get back to your point. You said he was how old? 17, right?
Yeah,
I think I read something. So what happened was, most of the kids they leave after they're done with high school and they've been going to the G League. This kid, he's 17 in his junior year. He's deciding to skip his senior year and go straight to the G League, and they're gonna pay him $1 million. I'm kind of against it because this is just my personal opinion. I'm not speaking for everybody. I feel like everybody should at least finish high school. Should at least graduate high school. Like that should be a. It's kind of getting away from kids not finishing school. I think school is a priority because what if he go out there and tears ACL? You know what I'm saying? Or
Yeah.
not wishing no bad luck on him, or hurt his ankle or something. You never know how long you're going to play for. So education is always important. Mind you, he is getting $1 million, but $1 million nowadays is not going to change, your whole life. You're not going to, have your family living good for a long time. So I feel like he should at least finish his senior year, but he's opting out of his senior year to go straight to the G League, which it may work in his favor. You never know. But years down the line, we'll maybe look back on it. But overall, I I see why a lot of kids are coming out of high school because that's the way it used to be. High school jump straight to the NBA. Then they start doing 1 year of college, and you see the one and done. But now kids are looking at like, look, the NCAA is not paying us. They're not paying us. So if I get hurt in the collegiate level, they're not going to pay me. They're not going to take care of my family. So I might as well go from high school straight to the G League and get paid. That's a clear cut answer right there. I mean, who doesn't want to get paid for they work that they putting in? And
Yeah.
then once they get paid from the G League, they can enter the draft and be right in the NBA. So now you may see the NCAA kind of buckle their knees a little bit because they're gonna start losing a lot of these athletes, and these athletes are the ones that bring in the revenue when people come to these games. So it's the ball is in the NCAA court because the NBA and the G League is killing them right now.
Yeah, that's one thing I want to say. I do think it is important to graduate high school, at least get your high school degree, your high school diploma first. But the NCAA been going downhill the last couple of years. You didn't seen some of these top recruits, signing deals in the G League now, so it's kind of like the new trend. And even another top five recruit, I think his name Amani Bates. I don't know if you heard of him or not, but he just
Yeah.
decommitted from Penn State. He like the number one. He the ranked number one player, like coming out of high school, no matter what class it is. Like, dude, legit. And to see he might go to the G League now is kind of crazy. And the NCAA, if they don't start paying some of these players, I think a lot of players like, man, they give me $1 million, I might go to the G League now. You're playing against
Mm.
pros, old like pros used to be in the league,
And
talent.
see, yeah, and one point I wanted to make was that real quick. Now, let's say the NCAA does decide to start paying players. I don't know if somebody in the comments on YouTube or Facebook later on could help me understand. But so me and you both went to Western. We both are Western alumni. Congratulations, by the way.
Thank
And
you, thank
when you got players like going to Duke, right? Of course, they're gonna bring in more money because Duke is a top D1 school. Now, say somebody goes to Western and they want a scholarship, they want to get paid. How is Western as a school compared to Duke? Not saying nothing wrong with Western, but as far as like financially, we all know Duke is bringing in more money than Western.
you. Right.
So where do lower D1 teams find the money to pay, these top athletes that they want to come to their school? And that's really the only kind of question mark I think about, D1 playing. Because like I said, of course Duke is gonna bring in money. They play on ESPN. They getting all the top players. They have one of the top coaches. So a lot of players are gonna want to come to school. They get paid and stuff like that. But what about the lower D1 schools? And also, I want to shout out to the kids going to HBUs because that's starting to get real popular too. Besides the G League, some of these kids are. I think Shaquille O'Neal, his son, that's coming up. He signed to go to an HBU too. So you seeing HBU starting to come up and snatch up some of these decent players, and some of the higher schools that's used to getting these players are kind of scratching their head like, okay, we not paying them and we losing them to HBCUs. So now you got all the African American players kind of, doing what they
Right.
want to do, and it's kind of like now balance is kind of uneven now. So you're gonna start to see a trend between the G League, the HBCUs, and the NCAA.
Yeah, considering what's been going on the last year, money kind of been a lot for people, financial
Mhm.
wise, and then all this stuff going on, with innocent black folks, getting killed. Um, I think a lot of people, kind of looking towards HBCUs in a way. Not even that, but to put them on the map. I think people want to see like Howard or some like a school like Howard win the NCAA championship. And I think that's gonna be really important. But Golden State and Memphis play tonight, and the playoffs officially start tomorrow. So, not talking about the matchups now, but are there two teams? What do you see? Like, so for each conference, do you see any teams down the line you want to see play each other? Like
I
your
think
personal opinion.
down the line, I think I want to see how I would like to see Brooklyn and Milwaukee series.
Why is that?
Cause I mean, I feel like Milwaukee is a team that will probably get them the hardest go, probably in the 7 game series. The Sixers is up there, but I don't have too much faith in them as I do with Milwaukee because Milwaukee can put up points and they can get after you on defense. Giannis, he lanky and he tall and he can do a lot on both ends. It just be a good series to watch. I would rather watch them than Brooklyn and the Sixers. I feel like I don't think Sixers have an answer for KD or Harden or Kyrie. And then another series I'm looking forward to. Um, hopefully the Clipper series and Dallas series will be good. Um, I'm kind of looking forward to Damian Lillard too to see how far he takes them. To see if he
Game time.
if yeah to see if they attempt to upset. Because I mean, looking at the bracket, it looks like the winner of Denver and Portland play the winner of Lakers and Phoenix. And I feel like Portland could take out Phoenix. Phoenix is a good team, but I feel like Portland is up there. The Lakers got Portland's number. So I mean, the Lakers may dominate them a little bit, but I want to see what Dame Time. Dame Time. He always want to watch. So it's gonna be interesting to see what they do.
Yeah, and another thing that's brought up a lot of times, and now that you mentioned Portland, a lot of these lower market teams don't really get recognition. That's why a lot of people think Dame don't get the recognition he deserves because he playing in Portland. Or like if he would have played for the Lakers, he'll be getting talked about every day. So, what's your thoughts on the lower market teams and the big market teams like the Knicks, the Lakers, Bulls? What you think of that situation? You think that plays a role in players, signing the free agents?
Well, I wouldn't say the Bulls is a low market team. You got to look at the city. Bulls always up there as far as market go because of the city. But teams like Portland, I think that's why you see the NBA putting in that salary cap thing where if the players stay, they get more money, which is what you're seeing from Milwaukee. And I think Dame got paid too, like a season ago.
Right.
So I mean, it all depends. I think it depends on the ownership. It depends on the GM and the coach. And I think players take that a lot into account. Um, but like I said, you see the Knicks are an up and coming team that free agents want to go because the coaches change. So I think teams in bigger cities are always going to be the higher look at teams because of money. More revenue. More fans and stuff like that. So I mean, these lower market teams, which is like I said, is why the NBA put in the salary thing because they
Right.
feel like if we can offer you more money, then you're likely to stay. But as you can see, the past last two off seasons, some players been like, nah, I don't really care about the money. I just want to go to another team. So I think it's going to be a kind of back and forth for that until they kind of play around with the salary cap a little bit to see if they may change some things. We don't know. So yeah, I do feel like it's always going to be harder for the lower market teams.
Yeah, because you see a team like the Lakers, they able to sign Marcus Gasol, Hero, and all these guys. And lower market teams like Charlotte, for example, even though they was lucky in getting Gordon Hayward, that's not really a destination people want to go to. Like, oh, I want to go to Charlotte. So
and that's why free agency and the draft are so important because and say you Washington or say you what a team, one of them other low market teams, and you have a lot of cap space, and a player is just trying to, become an all-star. Okay, we can give you more money than the top market team because they already got all these top players. And some players may sign because they like, look, I'm gonna get the money while I can.
Right.
So you may see that happen a lot too.
And another thing to mention too, I seen it yesterday. I think that was kind of crazy. Steph Curry can be the only person in history to sign another $200 million deal. Like the things he doing is crazy. Like I can't. It's gonna be crazy to see him retire one day because I don't think nobody can do what he do on a nightly basis. Honestly.
And he's earned all of that 200 million.
And thinking ahead right quick, where do you see the Warriors at when Klay gets back next season? Because I know everybody was talking about it. Klay was kind of trending. If they would have had him. So do you see them as like a top 5 team in the West next season when Klay gets back?
They could easily be top 3. Easily.
Top 3.
Top 5 for sure, but they could easily be a top 3. I just look at how hard it is to guard Steph by itself. I say by itself because he's the only one who can make shots like that. Then you throw Klay back in there, and he's making almost the same shots as Steph. So, and you see why the Warriors were so dominant, these past couple of years. It's like trying to guard them in a fast break is almost impossible because now you have to guard the 3-point line and the paint because they can do both. So throwing Klay back in there is definitely going to get him a boost. That's like 25 to 30 points a game.
Right.
And he could shoot on some nights better than Steph sometimes. I mean, they kind of go up and down when they playing together. But Klay could give you 11 3-pointers in a game. He can give you 13 3-pointers in a game. So I feel bad for, they going to bring him back slow, so you may not see Klay come back to rare form until like maybe after the All-Star game.
Because we thought he was coming back for this season, and look what happened.
Yeah, he got injured. So, I mean, you may see the Warriors in rare form closer to the playoffs next year. I don't expect for them to come out and be dominating, in the first half of the season.
And let's talk about one more thing because I find it quite funny that LeBron said he was seeing 3 rims on that clutch shot that lucky clutch shot he didn't hit. So do you really believe that he saw 3 rims?
I don't think it matters what we believe. The man hit the shot.
Look.
He called game. He called game. They went home. They did what they had to do. Steph Curry mean mugged him, but it was nothing. It was nothing he could. When he hit the shot, I'm like, this going in. I'm like, this probably going in right now.
Over Steph though, the dude who known for doing that to people.
Steph had been doing it all game. What there was nothing nobody could do.
That leap of faith shot, I'm telling you that
the man hit the shot. He didn't hit a couple of those. He did it against the Bulls when you remember game 2. And
I couldn't believe. It was like the game before. It was like Derrick Rose hit that shot. We feeling good. We was up 2-1 in the series, and then LeBron just took our pride away the next game. Like it was.
Yeah, then it was a wrap after that.
Man, I didn't even feel like watching the series. It was 2-2. I'm like, yeah, I think I know how this is going to end.
But yeah, I'm pretty sure his vision is great for the Suns now. I'm pretty sure he's okay. But I mean, if he was saying three, he was saying three. He
And it's
saw
gonna
the
be
three.
interesting too.
He saw the three go in. I'll tell you that.
But I think what's interesting with the Lakers, them being the 7th seed, is a lot of these playoff matchups, no matter who they play in front of them, they're gonna have to be on the road the first 2 games. They're gonna be on the road a lot until they come home. And with fans coming back, that could be a factor. These teams getting home court advantage, like Utah, Suns, Clippers, and I want to see. I hope they play the Clippers. I hope they play the Clippers. That's one matchup I'm looking forward to. I want to see
Which
Kawhi versus
one?
LeBron. I want to see
Oh,
Kawhi
okay.
versus LeBron down. I want the Clippers to eliminate the Mavericks, and I want them to see the Lakers. I want to see that matchup. I want to see Paul George redeem himself. I want to
Yeah,
see
but the
Jared Dudley
Clippers got
stop
to get
writing
past.
books. Like,
The
I want to
Clippers
see
got to
all
get
that.
past Utah. They got to get past Utah.
They can get past them.
I,
They can get past them.
remember you said that.
Nah, it's gonna be a decent series, but I think they can get past them though. I'm not gonna say it.
We
It
got
ain't gonna be a clean. It ain't gonna be like it's gonna be a nice series. Like it might go to 6, 7.
we got a question mark this whatever time you said this on the video.
What's it,
Because
50, 55? All I know is around 55, 56 minutes.
because I don't think Utah is gonna lay down like that. I
Nobody
just
got
don't
them
see it.
favorites to winning it though. Like that's my thing.
And that's what I'm saying. Like I feel like Utah could do something. The only thing I say about Utah is Donovan Mitchell. If Donovan Mitchell not playing, then they not going nowhere. If he's
Right.
playing, then they got a chance to get to the conference finals. They'll say they don't.
Yeah, but thanks for everybody for watching Give and Go. This episode will be on YouTube. Go follow us go subscribe to us on YouTube. My bad. Search Give and Go. That's our profile. And we're gonna keep coming with more content when these playoff games, these playoff runs keep going. So, brother, you got anything else to say before we wrap up? Any last words?
I think the next one will probably be
Sunday, maybe.
Sunday maybe, or Monday. One of
Well,
those
Sunday the
two.
games come on kind of a little earlier, so I mean we're gonna work around it though. We're gonna work around it. Talk about these games.
Yeah.
So thanks for everybody tuning in for another episode of Give and Go, and y'all have a good night.
All right.